see, you came all the way from Europe to Kanpur, Sri Karoli Shankar Mahadev Dham, and when you are done here, you shall be going back to your home, and you know the entire route. How would you be going back? What if you do not know your address, where you started from? The rest of the life you shall be wandering. Generally in our life, that is what we do. Normally we do not know where have we come from. We think in this physical existence we build our home, we have an address, we locate and relocate, and after we are done, our works are over, we go back to our home because we know every route how have we come here. What about the time when you leave your body? What about your route? Do you know where exactly have you come from in this physical manifestation? And that is a very big question, that I do not know where have I come from and what has been the route of my journey into this physical manifestation, physical existence as a physical body, which we think as the ultimate reality, which itself is not, which is illusion, because one day it will transform, it will disappear, and then comes the real question, the one, the pure consciousness that lives in this body, maintains and runs this body, where would it go? You really do not know, you have no idea. So in that process, unless and until a person knows the home, if the person knows the process of its descent, where exactly he or she has come from, how the physical being came into existence, unless that happens, it will be a confusing journey, and one would be ending up only in wandering, and that's how you go deeper into illusion, getting remanifested into different species. Many a time things that's not human. Many a time you might get back into the state of bacteria or plant, or what you call is the object. But if you know where exactly have you come from, how you have manifested, how you have manifested this body, then you know your address, where did you start from, and right after leaving this body, you are back into the same journey, the journey to the infinity, the journey which actually is finite if you know the address. Infinite if you do not know the address, and it's an infinite wandering. So let's explore, and I invite you to explore on this journey, where things will be more clear and there would be greater revelations as to how did you travel, where did you travel, and how have we come into existence. And to know this, you have to really get back to the same point, where did the existence itself come into existence? How did the universe come into existence? Because you have to go back to the root where you all have started. You have started from the point of nothingness, where there was nothing. And when there was nothing, how something appeared from nothing? And this is a question humans have been trying to discover since it learned to progress, and since it started wondering as to how this body has come into existence. In the Western world, there were philosophical evolution and then consequently scientific evolution. In the Eastern world, that's in India, both were complementing each other, and it was actually very scientific exploration. The only thing is that scientific exploration sets the doctrines, and if you practice that doctrine, you attain the position where you become the explorer. You cannot convert that doctrine into some formulas where you would actually create multiple output like you do in the scientific progress of converting doctrine into the physical manifestation. So it's a journey, the journey where you are very much concerned, and the journey where you are doing it for yourself, your own exploration. Let's begin, and I invite you all to join that. 1. What did exist in the very beginning of existence? And this is a subject of deep interest and controversies for many physical doctrines and scientific discoveries. Are they complete? I have experienced no. They are on the path of discovering, but they have not discovered. For example, the science tried its hand on Big Bang theory and found it to be the root of the existence getting into existence, or universe coming into existence. But what did collide? Where did it come from? Where did the first vibration come from? It cannot happen out of the blue. In sadhana, we explored and discovered that it never started. The universe never started. It existed. It exists, and it will continue to exist. What is its limitation? Unlimited, infinite. The moment you say infinite, it is huge canvas which is limitless. But how things started getting into physical being or objects, getting the conversion and conversion of the energy into gases, explosions, vibrations, and eventually the various planets coming into existence. Everything appeared from nothing. So there is no first point of existence to start actually, and there is no first vibration. It is the presumption that this is the first vibration. We really do not know whether that's the first vibration, because how has something come into being from nothing? So that's a point where the mysteries will unfold itself when you reach and merge in that infinity. If you do not merge into that infinity, you never know. So what is the understanding now? The understanding is very clear that existence never started. It will never end. It is never born. It will never die. And what is that nothingness is what we all are. That's where we all came from. But then next question comes, what is the process? How did it start that from nothingness everything started appearing? We really do not know. Because the point of first vibration is itself very incomplete notion. Because first vibration, if it started, which started of course, which might not be the first, but let us presume that it is first. It's purely a presumptional. You presume that there was a first vibration, and in the first vibration, things that emerged got a boundary. That got a boundary. The moment you get boundary, be it any shape, cylindrical, circular, rectangular. Unless and until there is a boundary, there is no physical existence. So that nothing, when it generated itself a boundary around a smaller part of that existence, that's the point what we call as the first vibration. And that is the point where the energies started getting certain shape and started getting the shape of atoms, getting the shape because it's visible, and whenever there is a boundary around it, the moment it becomes visible, it will always have its nucleus or the center. Limitless does not have nucleus, but the moment that infinity manifests itself into a shape, there is a nucleus. And that nucleus is to be explored. We discovered in the process that limitless without boundary is Atman, Atma, the soul. Soul is actually not the right word because it is completely misunderstood, misrepresented, and itself is not self-explanatory. But Atma, the moment we say it, it becomes very self-explanatory that that is what I am. That is what the pure consciousness is. And that pure consciousness is nothing. So things become even much more interesting to know that the process, how has nature come into existence? The very first vibration within the quote, which created that boundary, a perimeter, and came into being into an independent entity, that is called Maheshwar, or manifestation of Shiva. Mahashiva is nothing. That very Atman is Mahashiva. But this one became Maheshwar. The circumference of it is the nature. The nature does not have consciousness, but it has three embedded quality. The quality that is tamas, rajas, and sata. So that boundary was actually created from nothing. So without this boundary, nothing exists. Like any shape that you see, if it is put, you see that it is limited by a boundary, and so it is visible. And in fact, anything that is visible has a boundary, and then only it is visible, or else it will not be. The one that is visible is Maya, and that is what is Mother, Mother Nature. Now, yet another question would arise, that fine, from nothingness, from the very same element of nothingness, Maheshwar appeared, and together with Maheshwar, Maya or Mother came into being. When Mother manifested itself into different objects, that whatever that you see, the entire existence, which is explorable, which could be explored, is actually the point which contains three gunas or three embedded quality. So does the embedded quality work on its own? Or whenever there is an imbalance in these three gunas or three embedded quality, there is creation. When those three qualities are completely stable, there is no creation. It is closer to the non-existence or Shiva. And whenever there is a vibration in these three qualities, then came from it the next descent was buddhi. From satogun or from sattva, buddhi came into existence. From buddhi, ahankar, or it should not be translated as ego. Ahankar is wrongly translated as ego. Ahankar actually means aham akar, means my shape, right? And that came into existence. From ahankar, further down, tanmatras came into existence. From tanmatra, the Panch Mahabhut came into existence. What is tanmatra then? This is how we have manifested ourselves. That's the journey downwards. So first tanmatra is shabda, or the word, or the sound actually. The sound created Akash, the element, or what you call a sky element. Then from that further down you get a sparsh, where you can touch. That asparsh tanmatra got the next Mahabhut created, the element created was Vayu. From that further descent came the next tanmatra is Roop. Roop is what you can see, what is visible. From it came the next step, what you term as Ahon, Agni, fire element. And identically from fire to water, that is Ras. And next is Gandh, or the smell. That's how the Prithvi or earth element came into existence, and that earth element actually became the cause of our being. And when we know the journey, how we have descended, this is how we are going to ascend backward. That's the journey to go upward. And that's as simple as that. When we know it, so we know how we descended, how we have manifested, and through sadhana we go backward the same way.